Guys, hear me out, because I can already hear you getting riled up in the comments. I can tell you all the reasons you don't like revolvers. They're heavy. They only fire 5 to 6 rounds. They've got weird ergonomics, a weirder shooting grip. They fire rounds considered dated in 2025 and also quite expensive. Lack of red dot options, slow reloads, lack of modern holsters. They're for old people, and why would I buy that when I can spend $499 and get this polymer nonsense pistol? So here's the deal. I've never been a revolver hater, but I've been indifferent on them. The odds of me actively spending money on one were pretty much slim to none. So the question is, why would a modern gun guy of sound mind get a revolver?
And the answer is stories. Ranging from Doc Holliday to the battlefields of World War I to modern-day service pistols, revolvers are ingrained not only into American gun culture, but American culture, period. Now, if there's anything I love about guns, it's the stories attached to them. And with nearly 200 years of revolver history in America, you can imagine there's an abundance of fascinating stories to tell. And all of that would mean it was a good time to bring in our CFO, or Chief FUD Officer, the Duck.
Okay, welcome to the show, everyone. Thrilling to have you here. We'll get to introducing that in a second. So here's the deal. Here's how I put it. And tell me if you actually would not agree with this whatsoever. But I'm going to tell you my theory, and I know that you would actually disagree with it. So I think part of the firearms journey is staying curious and wanting to learn new things and take on new things, right? And not just being like, well, this is the thing that I know, and you never venture outside of that. So the thing that has piqued my interest the most lately, that I've been putting some energy into sort of getting into, is revolvers, okay? Which is what we're going to be talking about today. And I know some of you at home are like, aren't this like they cover like 2011s and like fucking HKs and shit like that? Yes, but we're going to stay.
The beginning of that sounded like a homosexual awakening. But I'm glad it went to revolvers because you saved yourself.
Okay, good. Now you stay in a very narrow corner of firearms.
Super narrow.
Like basically if it's made currently, not really interested. So here's what we're going to do. The revolver rabbit hole is deep. Today's not meant to teach you everything about revolvers. And when we say we're going to talk about the 5 essential revolvers everyone should own, we're going to go kind of the direction of, we're going to give you categories. Like here's 5 check boxes. Like, go like, and we'll tell you what the categories are, but it's like, hey, here's a box you should check in your gun collection. Here's some different guns you might consider in order to check that box, and we'll pull some stuff from our personal things here. But straight off of the set of the Tiger King is the Tiger Boy himself.
Tiger Boy.
Yeah, Tiger Boy.
I can't be the king of the Tigers?
Well, the king's still in jail, so I guess you're second in command at this point.
Yeah, I'm the Tiger Prince, if you will.
Yeah, so who are you for people that don't know you?
Hey, y'all. Eli here. I work for Alchemy Custom Weaponry and Cabot Guns. We sell 1911s. For those of you with the polymer sickness, that's a real gun. And then I also got a Instagram page and a YouTube page, all by the same name, 1776 underscore DUCK, like the flying animal. Is that pretty good? Is that a good introduction?
Yeah, that's solid. That's solid. You haven't really hurled any insults at many people yet. That's great.
Yeah, well, listen, the day is young.
The day's just getting warmed up here.
And I'm going to get warmed up because, listen, I'm already shaking. I just had me one of them Bang energy drink.
Yep.
I'm going to be real hard to handle here in a started
Well, you started that sentence with "I'm going to be real hard here in a bit," and
I mean, that's definitely on the table.
you pivoted.
We're talking about revolvers, baby. And if you, listen, we shot the 29 yesterday, no doubt, full mast. Super excited.
Yeah. So before we get into that, a thank you for the sponsor of today's video. That would be a shop called National Armory. Now, we have actually had them on the show before in a roundabout way because that's where we partially filmed the Hunt for Gucci Guns Pittsburgh. And when we were there, they had quite a good selection of revolvers, actually. Both
yes, they did.
New and pre-owned stuff. The pre-owned stuff seems to kind of be the direction that show is going. So if you live in the Pittsburgh area, definitely check that out. If you don't, no worries. If you were to type in National Armory, you'll probably figure that out and scope out their site. They got a big GB account. You can go peruse that. They got a bunch of cool stuff that they put up there. There's a code you guys can plug in there. It'll save you 10% off their website. That would just be 1911. But like I said, a bunch of new and previously owned things. They also buy collections. So if you're someone who's like, hey, I got some stuff I might be looking to part ways with. Okay, cool, great. There's there's some options out there, but it's like, hey, that would be a good one to check out. So appreciate their support. Let's start getting into it. Small frame revolvers. That's going to be where we start the conversation today. That would be category checkbox number 1, is that I'm going to say we think you should get a small frame revolver. I do. I don't know that you actually do.
I don't own a small frame revolver.
Well, there you go. We've already defeated the entire premise
the
of the
entire
video.
purpose of this whole video
has been shut down.
And listen, I don't really advocate for small frame revolvers except for pretty much in one scenario.
Pocket?
Well, let's say it's late at night and you say to yourself, I'd like something from the gas station.
Bang energy drink.
Bang energy
Just
drink.
something to take me to sleep.
Yeah, right. And so you say, well, it's the gas station. I already got my somewhat comfy clothes on. Like, I don't like going out in public and, not dressed in normal clothes, But if you're one of those people who have no style, you probably carry a plastic gun anyways. So you have no style, have no fashion. You say, I got to go out there in some short breeches or something like that, athletic clothes, athleisure they call it. You can stick a lightweight, revolver in your pocket or waistband, and you at least got something on you.
Yeah, it's better than nothing.
That's pretty much how I feel about it.
Yeah.
I mean, you make the argument as a backup gun as well.
Sure, yeah. Throw that bad boy on an ankle. Throw that bad boy wherever else. Fanny pack that bad boy. Look, if you're a dude that wears a fanny pack,
Here's the deal. Like, I feel like I'm pretty FUD, but the ankle carry is almost too FUD for me.
Yeah.
Like it's
well, and you got big ankles, so I don't know that there's any more space.
Well, I've got a lot of support.
Yeah.
Here. I mean, I'm
rigid structure.
I'm definitely, European terms, overweight.
Yeah. Well,
that doesn't take much to be overweight for Europeans. So we got 2 guns.
Yeah. So we got a couple things. So this is just personal. I didn't have to get any of this for the video. So this was actually the first revolver I ever bought. Smith & Wesson Bodyguard. They still make this. Mine has the laser, and they actually still make it with the laser. Which I don't know why. I know why. Still
because the people that are buying that gun are attracted to the laser.
I need the laser pointer.
It's kind of like maybe the person who originally bought the gun.
Well, I bought this in California, actually.
I don't know if that helped your situation.
Yeah, I think I've shot about 30 rounds through this in the life of the gun.
Well, it's interesting you say that. So my buddy Ken Hackthorne told me, because I was talking to him about this video, and he goes, these guns, you carry them more than you shoot them.
That's fair.
I think most people don't shoot their small frame revolvers. I mean, and, God bless you if you do.
No. Well, they're not like real easy to shoot. The grips are weird. Probably, okay, tell me if you would agree with this. I would say the icon of small frame would be Detective Special.
I think it's hard between like a Model 36 and a Detective Special.
Which
to
are
me,
effectively basically the same thing.
Well,
Ish.
one's Smith & Wesson, one's Colt.
Right, but I mean...
One's 5-shot, one's 6, I'm pretty sure.
Is that right? Colt 6.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I
Smith
think
might be
Smith is
5.
5 shot.
Well, the bodyguard's 5, so might make
Makes
sense.
To me, though, and this is, and listen, you know me, I'm a COLT man, right? I like Colts. It's got a pony on it, usually gets me going.
Yeah.
With that being said, I typically don't gravitate to Colt double action revolvers, except in the sense of that is the coolest small gun ever.
It is. And I mean, we're going to save the conversation of fits.
Oh, yeah.
For a different day.
I almost was getting into that. I'm glad you reminded me because I was like,
it's like, hey, we're going to probably save that for a different day because we're working on some stuff there. But I mean, if you really want to get into the actual coolest fucking small guns ever,
absolutely,
it becomes pretty non-debatable at that point.
Well, and again, Colt really kind of introduced that market with Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to try not to get into it to save it for a later video, but the Colt, especially Detective Special, to me is one of the if you have to get a small frame gun, to me it's one of the sexiest.
Yeah.
I do think Colts Colt double action revolvers aren't as durable as Smith & Wessons. However, in this particular instance, it's not necessarily an issue because you ain't shooting that gun a lot. You're not shooting the Smith & Wesson a lot.
No.
To me, if you're going to do the pocket gun thing, especially that gun with the exposed ejector, I genuinely,
kind of cool.
There's nothing cooler
Yeah.
as far as small frame revolvers.
It is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't shoot it worth a damn. But as the footage will illustrate, I can't shoot a revolver.
Well,
worth a
and
damn.
I want to take a note on the shooting here. I do think you would dramatically improve your shooting if you had what they call like a grip adapter.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about when we get to my model 19. But unfortunately, a lot of double action revolvers have a pretty big, a really big gap here, and especially on small frame guns such as this Colt. If you'll notice, and you might see it in the video with me, as I was shooting it fine, but it walked the gun almost completely up.
Right.
So the grip adapter really helps you get a better spot. I think Colts are a little bit of knuckle busters the way their trigger guards are. Modern and vintage Colts all hit me right there, and it's probably just a hand thing with me. But the grip adapters would dramatically improve the shootability of this gun. I really think you actually would like to shoot this more if you had that.
Okay.
The millions of Hulkamaniacs and the thousands of Macho Maniacs together for the ultimate powers, yeah. Yeah.
Well, at this point, everyone, Eli has had somewhere approaching half a gallon of Bang energy drinks.
Yeah, nothing means nothing.
4 ounces of actual H2O.
Would actually kill a European, yeah.
And he had a baguette.
What'd you call me?
He had this Smith & Wesson bodyguard here with that full ambi lefty friendly
Yeah, who cares?
cylinder
about that?
release. This bad boy. Insight laser
Do
on
you
the side
actually
of it.
carry that?
No.
Okay.
No.
just check.
And it's only 5 shots. Clearly, I can't hit shit with the revolver.
Oh, but you hit that. Oh,
Okay, come on.
doesn't it have a laser?
It does. The battery's dead.
Laser.
I bought this about.
Oh, the battery's dead.
I bought this about 15 years ago and never replaced the battery. Sweet ride though. Sweet ride.
I mean, you sure?
It's no detective special.
Detective Special. Okay, honestly, I would enjoy this gun a lot more if it had the grip adapter like we talked about.
Yeah.
But, I slip around on this gun.
It's not
A lot.
easy to hold. It's kind of amazing. Again, given the caffeination level at
I'm
this
telling
point.
you right now, my eyeballs are dilating.
That's small frames.
Let's move on to category number 2. Medium frame. Logical, the shocking progression. So we went from small frame
To medium frame.
yeah, you probably, and you're never going to figure out what's coming next.
You'll
You'll never guess. No shot.
Smith & Wesson 500s.
Yeah, right. All right, medium frame. What are we talking about here?
So we got a few guns on the table. Obviously the Python, the Smith & Wesson Model 19, and then the Ruger. This one's a Security 6. The modern variation of that would be a GP100, and you got your Smith & Wesson with a 586 with the underlug.
686. Yeah.
686, that's right, because it's stainless. So the medium frame revolver, in my opinion, that's your do-all gun, right? And I hate that word, do-all, but like
It seems pretty undeniable.
Size to power, it kind of works out pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll talk about the Python first. The Python and the GP100, they're a little bit bigger than your traditional K-frame. I actually, to me, because I think I'm a little bit more of a Smith & Wesson guy when it comes to revolvers, I think the Model 19 is probably one of the greatest revolvers of all time, as far as what you're getting power-wise and what you're getting size-wise. But with that said, the Python and the GP100/Security 6, they're a little bit bigger, but I think we'll put them under medium category just off of chambering alone. Now, the Python's an interesting gun. I'm glad you got a vintage one, to be honest.
This is a gift.
Who gave that to you?
Papa. Yeah.
That's an awesome, that is a fantastic, a great gift.
Yeah, yeah.
And truly, for many, many gun collectors, the Python is the pinnacle
It's the one.
of their collection.
Yeah.
And it's pretty interesting because, in the post-war era, Colt it's kind of interesting. They kind of weren't at the top of their game because so much of their manufacturing had been spun up for the war effort. And they were really making, they're really focused on the automatics, obviously, the 1911s. So they were big involvements in like bullseye shooting, like very slow fire. And there are some faster fire segments to bullseye shooting, of course, but it's all more for accuracy than like, the later...
Tactical.
Yeah.
That's not your thing.
No, I think it'd be fun.
No. Tactical is
Well,
not
I don't
your
like
thing.
that word tactical. I like, combat shooting.
Yeah.
Or practical shooting, as it would later be called.
Sure.
There's a ton of history on that. You're going to get me off track here. But Colt was using the officer's model match, which was a 38 wad cutter kind of gun. And that's what the whole deal was, use a 38 for the bullseye shooting. However... shooters were taking those officer model matches and they were sending them off to like gunsmiths. Kind of as, the custom 1911 world works. This was the custom revolver world. And they were putting weights under the barrel. They were doing a lot of stuff, getting the adjustable sights. They were doing a lot of stuff to these guns. And Colt actually looked at this and said,
not bad.
Why don't we make a gun that has this from the factory? So the Python is the gun they introduced. Now, here's the deal. The Python, most people don't realize, originally was supposed to be just a 38, right? Like this gun was never really thought of when it was originally conceived as a fighting gun or as a defensive gun, as a lot of people think. Because I've actually seen like modern Pythons used for honor guards for like law enforcement stuff. So it's pretty interesting. But this was designed to be a bullseye gun. And it was only supposed to be in 38. However, by the 50s, the 357 Magnum, which came out prior to World War II through Smith & Wesson's registered Magnum, the 357 Magnum was the hot cartridge. Like everyone in America wanted a 357 Magnum revolver, so Colt made the gun in 357. Now, here's the issue with that. Like I said, the gun has some pretty delicate lock work. I actually think, and you'll appreciate this, the lock work's extremely similar to the 1877 Lightning that Doc Holliday famously carried. So, that's a big
gap. Big gap.
They cleaned it up, obviously, but like it's definitely got its roots in that.
Yeah.
And so this gun does not like to be shot. The original guns do not like to be shot double action a lot. You'll beat the gun to death, especially with 357.
Yeah.
And that's not like there's a big argument in the Smith & Wesson field of like, you shouldn't shoot 357 out of your Model 19. I don't necessarily subscribe to that. But with the Colts specifically, especially our old ones, like they're totally not set up for that. The other thing is they're really not set up for double action use. You can use them. They have decent double action triggers, but their single action triggers are a lot better. On the newer Colt guns, which is pretty interesting, obviously their bullseye shooting is not a big deal, right? In modernity.
Sure.
Like a lot of people don't do bullseye much anymore.
Yeah.
Especially with revolvers. So when Colt reintroduced the Python, they actually set it up a little bit different. It's got a completely different lock work. It's a little bit stronger, actually it's a lot bit stronger, and it's set up more for double action than single action. Two things for that. Obviously, most people nowadays don't shoot revolvers except for you, for some freaking reason.
I don't know. I'm still new.
You shoot revolvers single actions that are supposed to be double actions.
Yeah.
And then you shoot this gun double action, it's supposed to be shot single action.
I don't know what
So anyways, a lot of folks don't, shoot single action with double action revolvers. So the new Pythons actually, I think, have a better double action trigger But their single action trigger is not great at all.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, what I just illustrated, but also I believe, and don't hold me to this, that they had to do a California drop test with the gun cocked to be able to sell it in California. So
That would not surprise me at all.
you know, you kind of have to make the trigger relatively heavy in the single action. So anyways, the Python, though, for many folks is the pinnacle of revolvers. You know, that underlug is really nice for a weight. In fact, when they originally designed the Python, that was going to be hollowed, and you could buy like weights and kind of weight it yourself, and they realized that was going to be too much.
Like my Korth.
Too much trouble. Oh, God, your Korth.
Python.
Or Python.
A Python, yeah. You got some rounds? You want to load that thing up?
Yeah, I'll load her up.
So the Python, that's how Ken Ackthorne says it, and that's like what I say now. Python. I like it better.
Oh, man.
Little 6 guns. Okay, little Utah. Little giddy up on my horse, you know?
What flavor bang was it?
I don't know. It's good.
Yeah.
I don't look at flavors. I grab the colors I like the most.
Okay, grab the brightest.
We're about to talk about a real American pistol.
Okay, sure.
Model 19.
Yeah.
So, had you ever shot a Model 19 before yesterday?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Model 19 to me is like the standard of a 357 Magnum revolver these days.
I mean, yours is a little bit unique, but
Yeah,
they're
well,
not
grab
all like
a
that.
hold of that thing.
Yeah.
You know? So, that is Model 19 Carry Comp. That is a new Smith & Wesson gun, okay? So we can go down the rabbit hole. We could spend 2 hours just talking about Smith & Wesson revolvers, but we're going to try to keep things brief. That is a 2.5-inch barrel with that little comp on the front.
Yeah.
Adjustable sight in the rear. That gun is wearing stocks that are from a vintage Model 19, and it has what we call the grip adapter. This is what I was referring to in the small frame segment.
Right.
Now, when you put that gun in your hand, do you not feel that
It feels
fills
more
up
locked
the
in.
grips?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It feels a lot more locked in.
Yeah, it's very similar to like these larger grips that a lot of people like, but I actually think it has kind of the vintage look. I've never shot that gun single action.
I would.
Of course you would.
I would shoot it exclusively in single.
I'm sure you would. It's got actually a nice hammer for that too on that gun.
It does.
So in Smith & Wesson terminology, you got the K frame and the L frame.
Yes.
Which the L frame is a little bit bigger than the K frame.
I think they throw the 686 under L frame.
I believe they do.
I think they actually
too.
consider that L.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The frame designations for Smith can get a little bit, I mean, they're pretty cut and dry. Colts, I mean, it's all over the place.
Confusing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Colts are pretty confusing. But the Model 19 is pretty robust. You know, and Smith & Wesson was really quick on getting service revolvers out post-war because they were making them during the war, whereas Colt was mostly making 1911s. So you really saw a big shift post-war to Smith & Wesson in the revolver market. And so the Model 19 kind of has its lineage with the Model 10 or the military and police Smith & Wesson, which I know you've kind of been wanting one of those.
A Model 10, frankly, I want exactly this. This is really cool. Like, I really like this.
Absolutely.
I think this is very cool. Model 10's kind of in that. Frankly, I mean, we wanted a Model 10 for the video in terms of, like, that is also kind of an essential, like, medium frame, like, you should own. I mean, most produced handgun of all time, I believe, is, you know. So, I mean, hey, that says something.
That's just a good looking.
I'm back here. Sorry.
That's a good looking gun.
Yeah, I think Smith would actually offer it with those stocks and like a reproduction grip adapter. I genuinely think it'd be an improvement over the overmolded stocks they have.
I like it. Okay, let's see if I can.
Why are you shooting?
Well, I just want to
double-action guns
establish
single
that I can even hit a target. Boy, it is a soft shooting gun.
Well, yeah. Look at you. That's like your best run with a revolver. What was that? You killed it there.
That's what you do.
No. Okay, boom, here. Okay, we're dumping them like that.
Well, I'm a left-handed shooter.
Well, I can't help you with that.
I did it right.
Listen, obviously God has some issues with you making you left-handed, but
that gun right there is a joy to shoot.
Yeah.
I've I was historically not really a big fan of comps, and we're going to be talking more about that in other videos, but that gun really does tame a little bit of the recoil. Like, I can tell the difference shooting that gun. Smith & Wesson does a good job building guns. Of course, that's modern production Smith, so it has the lock, and people have a lot of opinions about the lock. That has been fine for me, but there have been issues with locks breaking, especially on the heavier big bore guns. So that's always something to keep in mind. But if my opinion, if you can only own one revolver, the Model 19 is the revolver to have.
That's the one.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we would say the Model 19 is the Smith equivalent of Python.
Okay. I thought you were going to say it's like the Glock 19 or revolvers, and I was like, gosh, please don't say that. I was like, you see that? I was getting ready for a little bit of a bar fight.
But, I mean, it really is pretty comparable to a Glock 19, though.
Oh, you're going back to the Python reference.
But, I mean, also Python grade, too.
Yeah, I mean, as far as frame size, and of course the Python being 357, the Model 19 being 357.
Yeah.
The Model 19, I believe, was originally before the, because the model changes in 1957, so they went to like the model numbers for Smith, but they had like super gangster names. So I think it was the Combat Magnum prior to. Is that not cool. Like a way better name?
That's cool. They should have kept that. They should have kept that.
Yeah. If you look at all the Smith & Wesson names of revolvers before they went to the numbers, you sit there and you think,
hell yeah.
From a marketing perspective, that was a poor decision.
Yes.
And the numbers to me don't make sense. I'm sure there's a reason, and I'm just not into the FUD lore enough to know.
Which is shocking.
Right, but I'd rather call it a Combat Magnum.
Yeah. So those are probably like two essential picks. We got a couple bonus.
Yeah, a couple bonus
things
guns
here.
Yeah. And then I'm going to be brief on this one, but I do think that they deserve some limelight, because here's the deal. This video is going to be pretty heavily Smith & Wesson and Colt. And to be honest with you, up until about the 1970s, America was pretty bipartisan when it came to revolvers. I mean, you really were a Smith & Wesson or a Colt guy.
Yeah.
However, in the 1970s, actually the 1950s with single actions, but for double actions specifically, Ruger came out with the Security 6 and also the Speed 6 later. And Ruger, dude, I'm going to be honest, man. This is a 1983 Ruger Security 6. Dude, crazy cool gun.
Yeah.
They are fan-freaking-tastic, dude. And, like, it's shocking how much I like these. And you didn't really get to...
Yeah, I don't think we actually shot that yesterday.
Yeah, you grab a hold of that thing.
Yeah.
So that's a 2.5-inch barrel. And honestly, to me in revolvers, and this may be a consideration for you if you plan on carrying a revolver, to me, the medium frame with a really short barrel is about the most ideal carry revolver, because revolvers are huge. I have that Fitz 1917. It is literally the same, and keep in mind, Fitz cut down. It's the same size as a 1911.
Jeez.
Like they're huge. Like that's a big gun, even though it's a short barrel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just curious, like this compared to a I don't know what is basically called a Commander.
Yeah, sure.
1911,
it's
and you go, look,
much smaller.
That's basically the size of a Commander 1911, right?
Yeah.
Or 2011. But
so
still,
you definitely want to, like, the 4-inch guns. If you're someone who wears a gun outside the waistband, a 4-inch gun's fine. But like, you do definitely consider the shorter barrels.
Yeah.
But Ruger makes a great revolver. They still do. They're extremely robust. They used investment casting, which was really a big deal. And Bill Ruger, of all people, was really good at doing investment casting. It's overbuilt. The GP100 is always known as a super overbuilt gun, and that's where this lineage continues. It doesn't have a side plate like a Smith & Wesson. So you see this like plate here on the side. The Rugers are a one-piece frame, so they don't actually have a side plate. Everything comes out kind of the bottom. Right. So pretty unique there. But I had to give Ruger their laurels because no one does. Like, it's always like Colt or Smith & Wesson. I mean, if you're a supporter of the Brazilians, you might say a Taurus. I don't even want to talk about that further, but
well, we don't have any for today's video.
That's good. I don't want to talk about him anyway. So
you haven't shot this bad boy, 686.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, 7 shots. Give her a go. See what you think.
Well, I would try. I would love to give her a go, but you didn't give me ammunition.
Oh, you ain't got no bullets?
Communists. What are you doing? The color of this silver color. It's kind of like got that neo, old look.
Yeah, old electronics or some shit.
Well, it kind of looks like a, I don't know. Well, you could maybe a Motorola. Did you have one of those?
I did, and I liked it.
Here you go.
I like that a lot.
I was a divorced kid. You know, they always got, you know, cell phones before everyone else.
Yeah.
Because, you know, oh, we have to talk to the kid while he's at the other house. And I had one of those, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Badass.
Back when times were simpler. Yeah, ride the lightning. That's awesome.
How is he shooting like this?
Woo, that's a good shooting gun.
It is a good shooting gun.
Hell yeah. Medium frame revolvers, good fighting guns.
Yeah.
Pretty fun to shoot.
Yeah.
Don't beat you up all day.
Yeah. And now for a shocking twist with what's coming in the next section.
Which does beat you up all day.
Oh, yeah. I don't think anyone's going to see it coming. Large frame revolvers. Okay. That's category number 3. And people right now are like, wow, oh my God. Didn't see that shit coming. How'd you guys even come up with this? Like, how did you guys come up with the concept for this
I remember when we were
brilliance?
talking about it, and I kind of pitched you that idea, and I was like, listen, I think with this, we don't make it complicated, you know? Let's be
We're
honest.
not complicated people.
Most of the folks, like your tactical stuff, you know, we're just trying to get them into revolvers. I'm just trying to get them a little bit of chest hair, okay?
So if someone, let's take a man. Let's just say he lives in San Francisco or Portland, and his duty weapon is like a pit. Like that's
Are men in San Francisco and Portland?
they're
A variant?
yeah, like
watered
a
down?
hybrid,
Okay,
like
okay.
a hybrid kind of thing.
And their weapon is a pit?
That's the best he can do. That's his tool. Someone comes up to him in the street and he's like, "Stop!" And you give that guy.
Hold on, can you hit me again?
Yeah.
I'm kind of into that kind of stuff.
Okay. let's say you take that guy and you're like, hey, I don't know, what would his name be? Taylor.
Oh, that's actually a pretty good. I
Taylor.
Can see, you know,
You're like,
that's
hey,
kind of one of them names that goes back and forth.
Right. And you're like, hey, Taylor, I want you to go shoot this Smith & Wesson Model 29. What do you think would happen to him?
Well, I think his soul would. Well, it's one of two things, right? If he was born with a constitution that's there, it's just not had its, the environment has not allowed it to develop.
Flourish, yeah.
His chest will immediately burst forth with hair.
Right.
He will probably bulk up. It'll probably look like he went on TRT.
Yeah.
I mean,
TRT Taylor.
TRT Taylor, right.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is if he is of, actual weak constitution, this gun, finds the meek in a man.
Yeah.
And so if he is of weak constitution, he will,
I think he would just turn to dust.
Yeah,
I think he would literally just turn to dust.
His chapter would end.
Yeah.
And listen, hey, maybe we ought to test people that way. I don't know.
I'm not
Just
opposed
let them
to
shoot
it.
a 44, and if they survive it, you can be a contributing member of society.
So why should people have a large frame revolver?
Because they're fucking gangster.
And dude, just look at that. Is that not one of the most intimidating handguns you've
It's
ever
terrifying. It's terrifying.
And
Only to be more terrifying by another variant that we have of this that you will see on an upcoming
my
video
gun?
that is genuinely terrifying.
So I do want to also tell everybody, okay, you think caffeine is good? 44 mag's better.
It'll wake you up.
And here's the deal, is you actually only bought 44 mag.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you feel lucky? Well, do you? Oh yeah, that'll wake you in the morning. Oh, little light primer strike there. I knew we had it as good as this trigger feels. I knew there'd be a little light primer action there. Let's try it again. Smiths go counterclockwise. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, look at the howitzer shells dropping, baby.
Yeah. The steel just quivers.
I just feel like God reached out and touched me.
I wish you guys could hear how long the echo of this thing cuts through the mountains.
Yeah.
You'll notice the echo carries for quite a while, so we'll just shoot out into the field. Still going. Yeah.
It gets a second wind once it comes off the
does.
this one.
Yeah.
Because it bounced back over there.
Yeah.
Like the J frame, it's, it peters out pretty quick. This is just like, it goes.
It's so epic. Step up there. Step up to bat, son. get you a hold of a real gun. Let me pick that up for you. You know, you're old. You can't really bend down, can you?
I'll get there. Don't you worry.
With your old knees. How old are you? I feel like you're classic car age. Like, I feel like if somebody had you as a vehicle, they could get classic car insurance. That's not really that long. I think my actually might be that old. It's like 25 years. So yeah, I'm that too.
Yeah. Backfired on you, huh?
Yeah, it did. I didn't think that one through. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Yeah.
I just let you keep going.
Just shoot that gun.
Dig the hole.
Stop shooting it single action. Shoot that.
I hate shooting it so much. I can't shoot it worth
Come
a
on.
damn.
Come on. Yeah!
Yeah, okay. Reset. Get back in the fight. God. This.
You totally would have returned this gun back in the day, wouldn't you? Oh, come on.
Yeah, I would have.
Scared him.
Over.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, that's actually the best I've shot all day.
That
in all
gives a
fairness.
tingle in the dingle, man. Yeah, you got the big target stocks. So that's another thing. When you try to reload with those big stocks.
Yeah, that one round over there.
It'll catch.
I mean, look, it's an experience.
There's nothing like it, man.
It is an experience.
And like, here's the thing is I actually, in as much as I love horsepower and I love that BDSM factor of just getting your ass whooped every time you pull the trigger.
Sure.
Like, it's not the same on a 500. You know, like the 44 is my favorite big bore gun. And it's not necessarily because it's big. Because like I said, once you get to those really crazy stuff, 460, 500, they're not fun to me. But that's like the perfect amount of get up and get going. And then also not being able to, like, physically abuse your body. Like, that doesn't bother me shooting that all day.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're the one guy. Yeah, you're that guy.
Oh, I love it, man.
Yeah.
Big 45, 44s, like, listen, not a great shot. So I just want to connect one.
You only need one.
Yeah. With this, yeah, hell yeah. God,
Yeah.
I love it, man.
You only need one.
Such a badass gun.
I think we got more guns. Sure.
Like, I'm gonna be honest, I've been kind of like, we're just talking about history of stuff. Let me tell y'all something. When it comes to large frame revolvers, I don't need these notes.
Yeah.
I love them. And like, there's nothing that hits like a large frame revolver. When we talk large frame revolvers, I'm gonna be quite honest with you. I pretty much am a Smith & Wesson guy to the nose.
Everything here, yeah.
Yeah, I have, obviously a Colt Kodiak, and it's a great gun, honestly, but there's just nothing like the Model 29 Smith & Wesson. We'll talk about another Smith & Wesson in-frame, too. These are in-frames, by the way. I do want to make the caveat as well. When we talk large frames, a lot of people might say, oh, what about the X-frame Smith & Wessons? You familiar with that?
Yeah.
The big 500s
Yeah,
and stuff?
just ridiculous.
I don't even think that's really a revolver that's in the conversation. And to be honest with you, a 500 I don't even think is on the board. But some of the 460s and things like that, where it's the use case is so narrow.
Right.
I've seen a couple of times where that has saved people's lives.
Yeah.
A guy actually got attacked by a polar bear and had a 460 Alaskan. And I mean, his face is deformed, but I mean, he killed the bear. So
yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
But for the majority of people, the 44 is too much gun, to be honest.
It's a lot of gun.
And so we have two 44s, one's a 357.
And we're not going to go too far down the 29 rabbit hole here, because you do have a little treat coming in the coming weeks here.
But I'm going to tell y'all, you have to own a 44 Magnum revolver.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
I'm totally with you on this.
There is no, I mean, it is, listen, I'm 26. I've never taken a Viagra. I'm kind of curious, honestly.
You got the hat for it.
How it would do, yeah. Oh, yeah, right. I look like I probably pop them daily to get out of bed.
It looks like, you look like a guy that has a fucking IV of that shit just pumping at all times.
Just to wake up.
Steady diet of cocaine and Viagra and Bang energy drinks.
But I'm telling you, son, when you set off a 44 Magnum revolver, it is you feel like God himself has reached down and smacked you on the wrist.
Yeah, it's like a cannon.
It is so wonderful, and I cannot help but to smile. It is one of the few guns that I truly have a hard time not laughing as I shoot it.
Well, and you did laugh yesterday. Now, part of that was because you couldn't feel your body because of the level of caffeine consumption. So you were just wondering how you could hit anything.
I'm going to be honest, when I was looking at the front sight on this gun, okay, that thing was like it right there. But guess what? I think of all the 44, and we shot a lot of 44.
Too much.
I think I missed like only one or two shots. I mean, this was the gun I shot the best all day, I think.
It doesn't even make sense.
Like, I was just, and in fact, I offered to buy this gun from Jake, to be honest with you.
I told him I would.
And he went a ridiculous price. But
steep.
This is an incredible gun. Again, we're not going to get into it. That's going to be hard for me. But I think the 44 is an amazing.
It is a thrill.
Amazing revolver. I do want to show mine real quick. So this
son of a bitch.
This.
Yeah.
This is my Model 29-3 at the 3-inch barrel. I actually took a full revolver class with this gun. Now, disclaimer, I did not shoot Magnum the entire class. I shot Specials. And Specials are, like, the difference between Magnum and Special is dramatic. Not in price, actually. They're pretty close in price. But the recoil impulse between Magnum and Special is absolutely dramatic. And this gun with Magnums, see, I can shoot that gun all day with Magnums and be fine. Mm-hmm. This gun, the first cylinder, I felt it. And like I was like, oh, okay.
Oh no, you hurt. Yeah,
I was like, yeah, that one. And you know, there's a couple of differences. Obviously, that's a square butt. This is a round butt. I think the square butts help with recoil a lot better. This is obviously for concealing, but this gun is huge. I have
just
carried
a
it.
beefcake,
I've
man.
carried it, and it's one of those guns. Like when you got this thing loaded with 44, let's say a miscreant comes up and they pull out a switchblade. Hey man, I cut you with my switchblade, and you're like, all right, well, two can tango, and you present this.
Is that what you would say?
Is that how I would respond? I say, yeah, brother, two can tango.
Okay.
And I would say, in the defense of my life, you're about to meet Zeus.
Yeah.
I mean, that looks like, Zeus just flashed you the minute it sets off.
I want that security camera footage.
And so,
I want it.
And so, it's a crazy gun. But I would be remiss, I think that's the word, remiss if I did not tell you about the 357 Magnum in-frame.
Yeah, I got to admit, this appeals to me.
Yes,
the 4-inch particularly.
I'm going to tell y'all right now, too, if you said to yourself, I don't know, 44, that's too much horsepower for me. Mm-hmm. You're wrong, firstly. But if that is how you felt.
Well, if you were Taylor.
Right. Well, wait, hold on. You didn't even like shooting 44s that much.
I didn't, but I did. Mm-hmm. I didn't enjoy it, but I did shoot it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're one of those you got to watch your backside around, I think. And so, anyways, the Model 27, if you said, 44 is a lot of gun, the Model 27 is 357 Magnum. With 38s, it is like a 22. I mean, these are on in-frame, in-frame Smiths, but it's obviously in 357. So this gun, I do want to take a moment to talk about it because it is the grandson of probably my dream revolver, the registered Magnum.
Yes.
Pre-war 357 Magnum. They came out, I believe, in 1935. One of the finest revolvers ever made. Think about this. They were double the price of a Colt 1911.
God, that's insane.
At that time. Colt government model, it was double the price.
God.
Like they were $60 in the 1930s.
God.
During the Depression.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the craziest part about that.
Smith & Wesson Model 27.
-2?
If this were a professional wrestler, who would it be?
Oh, I'd have to say Stone Cold Steve Austin, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I got nothing else. That was it. That was just the leading prompt. And this is a vintage one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do they call you the nature boy? Is it because you like nature? Or do you like boys? Don't answer that. Have to be the 27.
That's the 27.
Yeah, the 27-2, it's basically in the family. We'll talk about it, obviously. In the family of the Register Magnum, one of my dream guns. First of all, God, it's just a gorgeous gun.
Used. This is not new.
Oh, no, it's vintage. Yeah, it's older than me. Older than you, believe it or not.
Nah.
Yeah, it's old. But there is no more pleasurable shooting experience, in my opinion, than a in-frame 357 Magnum. Because you shoot 38s, which unfortunately that's all we have. You didn't have no 357.
I had them. You said don't bring them last night.
I don't remember saying that. So anyways, super easy to shoot, sexy gun, gets you the girls, gets you on target. Yeah, let me tell you right now. Oh, hey, ow, whoa, yeah. Oh, I missed that one. I got too excited. But yeah, it's a great shooting gun.
Yeah.
If I don't get jacked up, dude, that front sight, I got so much caffeine going through my system. I'm like that right
Oh,
there.
yeah. No, he is absolutely, yeah.
But that gun shoots really good. Got a good smooth pull through. When you stage that gun, and staging, if we haven't talked about that yet, staging the trigger obviously means you're going to pull the trigger double action until you get to a point where you can hold it right before it breaks.
Yep.
Makes for really accurate shooting. But this gun actually, it's a really good smooth double action pull.
I'll stage it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See how I stage that?
Right.
Watch.
Can you hold it? Can you hold the stage? No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that last one got us both, man. But it's just an excellent, excellent gun. And actually, you'll notice that casing, where on your 29 was getting caught because the bullet's actually smaller on this. You got more room, so the target stocks don't get in the way.
Right. Which is the grips.
Yes.
Yeah.
The stocks.
Okay. Got it.
They're pretty sweet though. And you'll notice too that has a thinner trigger than your 29.
Yes, it
and
does.
a thinner hammer. So this is not the target. You have a 29 like target set up with the wide trigger, wide hammer.
Right.
This is a little bit more of a fighting setup.
I could fight with mine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hell, I'll fight with you. I'll fight you for yours.
Yeah.
But tell me, I mean, as far as shooting experience, that's about as good. I mean, it feels like a 22 in my opinion.
It feels really good. I really do like the 4-inch version of this. I just think it looks mean.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's just a really mean
the
looking gun.
3.5-inch 27 is my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Mainly
good.
because I relate to the 3.5-inch part.
Yeah. No.
And the craziest thing about this gun, especially the registered Magnum, being at the height of the Depression, all that stuff, is like the amount of workmanship that went into the guns are crazy. And the cool thing is Smith & Wesson, the heritage of the company, appreciated that. So in the post-war era, if you look here, you'll notice the top of the gun is checkered.
Really nicely done.
Okay. Now this is the only model of Smith & Wesson that ever will have that, because this is a carryover from the registered Magnum. And to me, that's at the point where it is unnecessary. However, that tells me that you cared about the gun. You cared about the gun. So to me, the Model 27, the pre-27, the registered Magnum, that is one of the most fantastic guns you could ever own.
What can you pick up a 27 for?
Well, it's all over the place, dude. So like, if a guy knows what he has, 27s will be, somewhere in the $1,000 to $2,000 range.
Okay.
Pre-27s can be 15. I mean, it depends on barrel length, of course. The 3.5-inch 27 is one of the most valuable 27s you can own. In fact, Patton carried in World War II a registered Magnum 3.5-inch, and his name for it was his killing gun.
Dang.
Like that's how he referenced that gun. Of course, Patton has many cool guns, but that gun's probably the coolest, even including his Colt single action Armory. But this gun I got from guns.com for like $650.
That's crazy.
And like this is a pinned and recessed gun. We'll talk about that on another video about what that means. It's a pinned and recessed vintage 27-2. That to me is probably one of the best, and you can find them for that. You just have to kind of know what you're looking for, kind of understand where you're at, and hopefully not, the guy selling it doesn't know what it's about. But this gun shot phenomenally yesterday.
It did.
Especially because you didn't have any 357. I know I told you not to bring any, but even with 38, it is one of the most pleasurable guns you could shoot.
Yeah.
In-frames, they're the sexiest revolvers of all time. When you look at a man holding an in-frame, you think he can lay down some pipe.
Yeah.
That's probably what they think.
Yeah, he's on TRT.
So yeah, that's the in-frame. Again, I'm cutting myself short because of other videos, but in-frame revolvers, they're badass. You should have one.
Okay, that's small, medium, large. Now we get to actually dip into some different territory.
Extra large.
All right, guys, here's the deal. I'm going to show you two different style of gunfighter guns. Eastwood, the man with no name from A Fistful of Dollars. HK416. Okay, they're two very different styles. This one does not require any accessories other than assless chaps and spurs, of course. This one does need some accessories. So what I would recommend is that you guys go over to Big Tex Ordnance and shop around a little bit. So the little Kratos design little hand stop there, a great option. I like these quite a bit. I've got a couple floating around in here somewhere. This is their little barricade stop. You might even notice the little like texture at the end of that there. That's so that you can push it up against barricades, you won't slip. Actually got the X300 there. They got the Unity mounts. There's a lot of different stuff in here. I mean, if I just like look around, there's a ton of stuff in here that they carry, from Hollow Sun optics to X300s to optics to all that kind of stuff. So check that out. The accessory choices of guns are very, very important these days. You guys can plug in a code. It's 1911SYN. That'll save you guys 10% off of their store. And then if you guys are looking for any other ways to support the 1911 Syndicate, you'll notice how rusted out this sign is. We would like to make enough money to get like nice new gear, but we're stuck with old vintage stuff like that. You can go to our Patreon. You can subscribe up to that, get behind the scenes stuff. You get first access to the whiskeys that we do. So if you're a whiskey guy, well, I can guarantee you one way that you can get it, which is through the Patreon. So you can scope that out. If you need real estate help, let us know. Beyond that, appreciate the support. On with the show. Extra large.
Extra large guns. Here we go.
You could not talk about it. In many ways, these are extra large, but just a different style of gun. Not actually extra large, semi kidding. But so the fourth category here is going to be single action. Okay. And I mean, damn, in many ways, if you were going to say, hey, you got to pick one revolver to own, I mean, couldn't you kind of argue like, yeah, you just got to have some sort of single action Army gun?
I actually think that's a fair argument. It's one of the most American guns as far as gun categories that you could have, and I think specifically with the Colt single action Army and clones, such as that Cimarron there, you have to understand the Colt single action Army. It to me is the first iconic handgun, and a lot of the world attributed that gun to Americans.
Yeah.
Until, of course, the 1911 came out. And I think the 1911 and the Colt Single Action Army are kind of the two guns. If you're, a gun collector, a gun guy, you have to have a variant of them.
Yeah. No, I agree.
And, it's funny because, in America's history of firearms, which, of course, we're a firearm-based country, we're one of the few, superpowers where our history doesn't predate firearms. Like think about, I'm not necessarily a superpower, but angling, like that's way older than guns. They had knights and shit.
Yeah.
We've only had guns ever. So it's like we're inherently gun cultured.
Yeah.
And it shows because Europeans are terrible with guns.
Yeah. I mean,
and they have terrible gun laws.
Yeah. I mean, the French, come on. What are they going to shoot you with?
The only thing.
Their fucking meat and cheese? What are you going to shoot me with?
The only thing the French have ever done good with firearms, smokeless powder. I got to give it that.
Sure.
I mean,
great.
But
we could have figured that out. We could have figured that out.
If, honestly, if I could go back in time and say you can have the French inventing smokeless powder or just use black powder the rest of your life, you'd never have all the automatics because black powder fouls it up so much. I'd rather have black powder the rest of my life because I don't want to give the French any accommodations.
No. You ever had a macaroon? You ever had one of those?
I feel like that's a weird sex thing. What is that?
A macaroon.
Like with cheese?
Little tiny. No. Actually, not cheese at all. It's a little pastry with
macaroni and cheese.
Little cream. Yeah.
Not macaroni.
What did I say? Did I say macaroon? Did I say macaron?
I thought you were just pronouncing macaroni weird.
Yeah. Well, we speak different languages, and you kind of sort of speak English, and
I mean it's a variant.
Yeah, it's a version of
it's there.
English.
So we're going to talk about some of these single actions here
because this really is where reproductions really start to shine.
Yeah.
I mean, like this is the repro space.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, they do a good job of them.
Very good job.
These guns are extremely high quality. You've got two different manufacturers. Both are important guns from Italy.
We'll start chronologically. How about that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll go
to the new Army.
Yeah,
or the 51 Navy conversion.
This is kind of
it's an open top conversion.
Yeah. So and look, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a sucker for a good story, and I get emotional, and I'm an emotional buyer. That's why Hunt for Gucci guns is dangerous for me. As you know, you made me buy a
guns are emotional,
fucking shotgun in Chicago.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
I'm an emotional buyer. And as my morning workout routine happens and I'm watching the Django Mansion shootout, eventually I just go, well, gotta have them. And these are the two guns from Django, of course.
Variations.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it'd be great if they were the actual movie guns. But these are really cool. And so these are from cool. Taylor's & Co. And there's a few companies that do repros of these, but it's like, these are, and these are cartridge conversions of what would be black powder guns.
And they're actually the historically accurate cartridge conversion. It's not like they just, we're trying to give you a way to shoot cartridges on a gun that looked black powder. I mean, Colt actually introduced that gun on the market. And in fact, those were at a time more popular than single action armies because of just cost.
Yeah.
They were just cheaper.
I mean,
And it's
This
so
is
sexy.
really cool.
The naval scene on the cylinder,
So cool.
like again, and this goes back to a time where manufacturers did things completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
But just to kind of have a little bit of pride in their manufacturing.
Yeah.
God, we need to go back to that.
Yeah, no doubt. So that's the basically Colt Repro, and then that's basically a Remington 1858, which I'd be lying if I said I knew a ton about these. Like I said, this was an emotional thing for me. But I mean, again, aesthetically, badass gun.
They are cool. Yeah, the 1858 New Army is a cool gun. I think just historically, a lot of Americans gravitate to the Colt. Revolvers, just because it's such a historic company. But Remington, of course, is also a extremely historic American firearm brand.
Well, and it's cool how they even set up the cartridge conversions where it's like you still take down the little lever, and then that's what then depresses your
Yep.
your little cylinder punch there. But it's like, this is just cool.
And they're a lot of fun. I mean, are you going to have like a tactical day with one?
Not likely. And if you do, kind of awesome.
Yeah, but more power to you.
Yeah, I mean, hell yeah.
More power to you.
Hell yeah, brother.
I think they're fantastic. I think, it's another one of those guns. You just got to have one. And the Colt and the original versions of these guns are collector pieces.
Oh yeah. I really want to have like
it would be
original.
actually
just for a collector's perspective.
So little sidebar here.
Yeah.
One of my shops in Asheville actually got in a collection of black powder Colts, like original black powder Colts.
Okay.
And they're sweet. So I'll tell you about that after.
Okay.
But the
true single action army.
Single action army,
Yeah.
of course, introduced in 1873 by the Colts Manufacturing Company, originally called the strap pistol. Got your strap on.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's called a strap pistol.
Don't need to look at me in the eye when you say that.
Listen, you're the one that can't handle 44. Of all of us, you're the one that needs to be worried.
Oh no, it's so dark.
So if you look here, a lot of the Colt revolvers leading up to this were open tops. So the strap this is the first gun where Colt had a gun prior to that had the strap, the root pistol. But as far as their Marshall firearms, they'd always been an open top company.
Yeah.
And so this was the first time they had done that. Obviously, that was to strengthen the frame. So
yeah, and to my understanding, to my basic understanding of the history of this, because I am far from knowledgeable in this subject matter, but it was like, hey, this is kind of what Colt presented, and the Army basically came back and said, like, hey, we need this to be a little bit more robust versus the open top, and that's kind of where the single action Army came from.
Yeah, and the same guys who worked on the open top conversions, and they and the Richard Masons, they kind of had a big hand in the single action development as well.
Yeah. Well, and what I'll tell you about the single actions, also with the black powder conversions, but especially with the single actions. So it's a really fun category of gun because you have so this is from Cimarron, right? And these are all ultimately Italian guns that are brought in. But what's fun about them is so Cimarron in particular does movie recreation guns.
Well, why wouldn't you?
And of course, right? But it's like, they are fun. So they've got like the Tuco special from Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
It's incredible scene.
Is really, really badass. So this is the Man with No Name, which is Eastwood's gun from Fistful of Dollars, and for a few dollars more, with the sterling silver rattlesnake on it. You're like, look, that's just badass.
They make the Holy Smoker.
The Holy Smoker. That's what I wanted for this.
That's the coolest gun they make.
That's what I was going for.
The
and
Hand
they just
of
didn't have
God
it.
from 310 to Yuma.
Stop.
Like, first of all, the name.
Yeah.
The Hand of God. God, that is just
ridiculously cool.
No one's going to name their Glock the Hand of God.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, that's just, polymer guns just don't have it, man. They don't have, you know what the kids say nowadays?
No.
Crispy, help me with this one. Aura? You know what I'm talking about? Like, that guy has aura.
Oh, yeah.
Or
Is that how, am I saying that right?
I don't really know. I was just able to guess that you mean
It's something like
his
that,
vibe,
you know, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's like he's got the sauce. He's big dick swinging. You know, that's like this right
Yeah.
here. You know, and a polymer, if a guy said, you know, look at my Hand of God, and it's probably
an agency Glock, you're like,
God.
okay.
Let me tell you, that's the hand of something, but it ain't God.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, the Holy Smoker's super badass. They do the wide ARP gun. They do the damn Doc Holliday special. I mean, it's like,
Yeah,
they're
with the
really
knife,
cool.
it comes with.
I
His,
know,
with his
like
knife.
I want the whole damn
Yeah, I want
cinematic
all of them.
lineup.
Well,
Like,
and like that's with Taylor's too. Like I look at their website, dude, and man, I'm like, there's not a gun where I'm like, yeah, I don't think I want that.
no, they're really cool.
Like I
they're
think
really
inherently as Americans, to me, if you say I'm an American gun owner and we show you these guns and nothing kind of rustles your
That's what I'm
jimmies,
saying.
I'm kind of thinking, are you a Russian spy? Like, what's going on here?
Well, and that's why in the opening of the video, we were kind of leaning into this notion of like, telling you some stories and showing some clips and everything. Because it's like, look, man, motherfucker. If you watch the damn field shootout in True Grit,
Oh, don't even get me started.
and you
even
don't
get me
want
started.
a single action
Fill
army,
your hands, you son of a bitch.
you're dead. You're dead inside. And as someone who is dead inside, you're deader if you don't want a single action army after watching True Grit.
And like at Westerns especially, like how can you not love them? Like how can you not love them? They can be the most budget made film, and
gives
I'm
a
just
shit?
like, I don't care, man. There's a guy who's gonna shoot up, a town, and another guy's gonna save everybody. It's just incredible, And some of the most iconic movie scenes of all time are Westerns.
Oh yeah, I mean the damn Django shootout. I mean, is one of the most masterfully made in terms of sound and just the visuals. None of it actually makes any sense.
Oh.
I mean, you were noticing earlier, like, okay, so apparently Django's gun can shoot through a man, through other things, but everyone's shooting at him. He's got a human as a shield.
Well, it's funny because like they made a point to show his bullet going all the way through and through to the next room.
Yeah.
But like then he uses a human shield, and all of a sudden all those
and we're good.
shots are getting.
But it's just like it's an emotional, like if those things don't move you, like that's kind of where we're going with this video. Is like, hey guys, can we get you a little on board with the notion of there's some cool revolver shit to talk about?
I'm telling you, you know what? I'm so tired of hearing. Like I can't handle it anymore. Well, but that's not practical. Take that practicality, okay? Shine it up real nice, turn it sideways, and stick it straight up your candy ass. Because I don't give a shit about practical anymore.
No.
You got an AR-15, you got some sort of fighting handgun, you're done.
Done.
Get you some badass guns that when you look at them, you think, that's sick as shit.
That's what I'm talking about.
You know what I mean? Like this, I get kind of excited because I'm like, man, like you die tomorrow, you spent your whole life carrying some, Glock, which one, the 42s, the 380? Like, are you really, you're not going to heaven, man.
No.
No,
I want someone to walk into here and be like, this guy is financially irresponsible.
Absolutely. Like, and I've talked about it before. When I die, I want my kids to be like, hell yeah, Dad's dead, and I'm getting some badass guns out of it. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. And you know what? 3 Bang energy drinks might do it.
That's what, yeah. Well, that's why I stop at 2.
Right.
3 is gonna put me over, and I ain't got no heirs, and I've got some badass guns. I need to have heirs for.
Yeah.
I promise you, if I died at 26 and they walked in my gun room, they would think a 98-year-old.
At the youngest.
Yeah, at the youngest. So, anyways. Fantastic guns. You need to own one. You need to stop with all this, having multiple Glocks. I had a guy tell me, I collect Glocks. What? Let me tell you right now, that guy is who the chair in the corner of a hotel room is for.
I'm a sucker for passion.
Stealing a young girl's heart. You ready to go?
Yeah, who's that by?
Just like Jane and Roy, singing those campfire songs. Oh, I should have been a cowboy. Is that not Toby Keith? Crispy, is that Toby Keith? Oh, Crispy's never listened to a country song. Are you just going to shoot? We're going to talk about these a little bit?
Yeah, so
Single actions.
Real basic. Single actions. I'm a sucker for passion and emotion. Passion is what drives my life. And so when I recently watched Django and the Mansion shootout, which I actually watch fairly often while I do cardio in the morning, that's what gets me going, right?
Yeah, you sent me that really
You're
early.
a Bang energy guy.
Yeah. You watched Django?
I watched it. What the D is silent.
Maybe for you, but the D's never silent for me.
Yeah, okay. the damn The mansion shootout.
Yeah.
You know, it gets spicy. And oh,
it's blood and guts.
it's like the best sound effects and everything ever. But he has basically a Colt 1851 and Remington 1858. And as I watched that more and more, I was like, well, I'm going to need those.
Of course.
And here we are. You know, I will probably never shoot these beyond this, but Django was really good at dual wielding these bitches. So, well, that was stupid.
Yeah, it's
I
not
mean,
smart.
safe. Everyone calm down, but like you wouldn't.
I mean, I'm
redo
fine.
that one. Let's get rid of that. Now I got to catch up on this. So the plan already went to shit, and I'm a left-handed shooter, so yeah. Yep.
I'm thinking you would have died in the mansion.
I could have. Yeah, I wouldn't have done great. I would have shot one guy though. One guy would have gone down.
I don't think that's how I remember that scene going.
No, he killed everyone.
Yeah.
He killed everyone.
That is an excellent example of Hollywood making one man as strong as 10 and giving handguns the same firepower as rifles.
Yeah, but they're so cool.
Oh, they're so sexy. I'm glad you got those. You're slowly turning into a FUD, and I love it. I'm here for it.
For 1 month of the year.
So, what I got you? I got your gun, actually. Cimarron. What do they actually call this model?
The man with no name.
The man with no name. I feel like that's me.
Yeah.
And so 4 3/4 inch 45 Colt single action Armory clone. These are a 3-click. That's going to be important for later discussions. 3-click gun, but it still, I believe, does have the firing pin on the hammer. It does. These shoot really well.
Yeah.
So,
ironically, he's the only one that shot my new gun. Because he keeps taking it.
oh no, that Desperado got away. Okay. Now, I thought about spinning it, but I knew all you bunch of safety commandos on the YouTubes, you'd be like, that's not safe. Well, you know what? Maybe your parents should have been safe when they were conceiving you. You want to shoot that?
Yeah.
This is going to be an awkward transition of power. Here you go.
I haven't even shot my own gun yet.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. I will say on single actions, and I do find this even I think with double action revolvers, I start to sink my finger, which is what happened when I missed over there. I start to sink my finger a little bit too much, and the gun gets a little cockeyed in my hand there, you know.
Now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
This is a 6-shot gun. I currently have 5 rounds loaded into it. Why would I do that?
Well, see, that was kind of how they used to do things. So these guns, actually, a lot of revolvers of the time period had a firing pin directly on the hammer. This is what we call a rebounding hammer. So the hammer actually, the firing pin was always protruded forward. So if you were to load all 6 rounds and safely lower your your hammer onto a live round, your firing pin would essentially be sitting right up next to a primer. So if you're on a horse or doing cowboy shit, and you bump, the hammer, it could potentially go off. So what you do is you load 1, you skip that cylinder, you load 4, you cock the hammer to the rear and lower it on an empty chamber. Whenever you're doing this, kids, okay, here's some dad advice for you.
Sure.
Whenever you're doing this, kids, always remember with a single action, never go from the second or first click down. You always want to completely cock the hammer and then lower it. It's real bad on them.
Yeah.
Doing it other ways, but
Full cock.
you're going to enjoy that. 45 Colt out of those guns is really awesome.
I haven't shot it yet. I'm excited to shoot my...
I'm glad you're shooting this one-handed at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, not well, but...
All right, come on now.
Not
You're
well at
embarrassing me
all.
in front of my friends.
What? Why can't I shoot revolvers?
Okay, there we go. Got the shoulder. But, oh God, okay.
1 out of 5.
Hey, you know what?
It's just embarrassing.
In public school system, you would have passed.
Look, here's the reality. Most people in my position would be like, well, cut, we're going to redo it. We're not going to show how bad we suck on camera. I just say, look, I'm just going to show you how bad I suck. Okay.
Well, I mean,
I'm decent at other things.
You're an honest, genuine guy.
I'm not, but I choose to show my failures on camera.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's great.
No,
Well,
I'm a bad person,
But that
but
gun shoots pretty cool, isn't it?
it does shoot pretty cool. It's, I got 2 rounds.
So I want to express to the viewers at home, when you're shooting a single action Army or single action pistol of all time, you'll notice that little bit of a
curvature to the grip there. That is so, as you notice under recoil, I got 2 guns in my hand. I'm going to spin that. They're empty, by the way. They're empty. Not that I really care what y'all have to say, but they are empty. So when you shoot the gun, it recoils. Now this gun don't recoil much, but it recoils. Now you'll notice as it recoils, it puts the hammer right where I need to cock it again. So you'll notice on double action revolvers, it's a lot more of an aggressive angle because you really aren't supposed to be reaching up there and grabbing the hammer. But this is meant as you shoot right here, and you're already there, so that you don't have to reach up out of your kind of grip there.
Yeah.
So you should, use that.
Okay. Come on, baby. Why am I even trying anymore?
See, I thought the music would help you.
I can't do it.
It didn't.
I can't do it. It's just humiliating.
But, okay, listen, even though you're not hitting, is it not still fun?
It's fun. It's funner when you hit a target.
Well, you hit something.
I mean,
You hit the Utah countryside.
fucked up that cow patty out there. At the very least, the gun looked cool as I was doing it, but you know.
Oh, and I love the snake on that thing.
Oh yeah,
I love getting to show my snake.
Yeah. It's about the same size.
Maybe a little larger.
Kind of exaggerated on that bad boy. Yeah, good times. Number 5. We have very different barbecue guns.
Oh, about as far I think as you can go.
Yeah. Mine's awesome. Yours is, I don't know. You ever been to a barbecue?
Oh, I mean, from North Carolina, we make the best barbecue.
Yeah. Barbecue guns.
They're a staple.
Is a staple, and I think we often talk. That's category number 5, barbecue guns. It's sort of the.
It's not double XL. It's not double XL guns.
Yes. And a bonus 6 category is triple X.
Triple X, yeah.
So barbecue guns, obviously, we largely associate 1911s with barbecue guns, I think. But I think revolvers is one of the few other gun categories that can wind up in there.
I think really that's one of the only other.
It's about the only 2 that I can even think of. So this is kind of in the grail gun category. Some foreign things could come into play, or just some really cool, domestic things that are just simply more rare, more collectible and just like shit you don't see every day.
Well, I do want to kind of start it off with saying, my dream revolver is actually not on the table, unfortunately.
Yeah.
There's 2 revolvers I would consider to be like my grail / barbecue guns. Like if I got them, I probably would never conceal them because I want people to see them, kind of deal. That's the point I'm at in life. Like I don't want to have, I want people to know that I'm better than them.
Which is weird because you dress in a very subtle fashion.
Well, I mean, this is pretty. I mean, I just
This is toned down.
It's Utah. It's cold. I didn't want to be cold.
I can't wait to walk into gun stores later with you dressed like that.
So my 2 dream revolvers, 4-inch Smith & Wesson triple lock, 44 special. God almighty. Whew. And then the 3.5-inch registered Magnum. So the other gun, and I think honestly, if this isn't a grail gun for you as a guy, like everyone should have the Colt single action Armory.
I agree. I'm mad I don't have one yet.
Well, and I'll be honest with you, Colt doesn't do a great job of putting them out in modernity.
No,
unfortunately.
No.
I mean, I'm pretty close with Colt, and even I can't get a modern Colt single action Armory. So this is a 2nd generation single action Armory. There's effectively 3 generations of Colt single action Armory, but this is the 2nd. So this is a cool one, and I'm going to you'll appreciate this. Okay?
Send it, yeah.
I got into guns because of Westerns.
That's
I
shocking.
did not come into I not from a gun family. In fact, my father owns, unfortunately, only 3 guns, and 2 of them are Glocks. Can't believe it. I'm gonna have to save my bloodline here. That's why I'm so hardcore about this stuff. I was gonna say
the genetics, not doing great.
Right, and so I have, but I am proof you can be better.
You can break out.
You can break that family curse.
You became TRT Taylor. You are he.
That's right. And so I didn't come from a gun family, but my grandmother absolutely adored John Wayne, and of course I adored her, thus I adored John Wayne. So I grew up on Westerns, and that's what got me into guns, and I've always wanted a Colt single action Armory. Gosh, Matty, I forgot how heavy that hammer is.
That hammer is very heavy. Ooh, you look nervous.
Oh no. Well, I scared him on that fourth shot.
Yeah.
But here's the deal, okay? This is supporting America, okay? It's the gun we won the West with.
Yep.
How much West was won with a Korth?
I don't know. I've never researched it.
Guess what? I ain't got a freaking weight under my barrel. All I got is the ejector rod, baby.
Yep.
That's all you need.
Yep. 54 ounces. A primetime German
Let me ask you a
steak.
question. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
You got a holster for that thing?
I have a bag. I have a bag I put it in.
So you got a barbecue gun. Hold on, let me get this straight. You got a barbecue gun that you're supposed to wear out to fancy occasions.
Yeah, I have a chest rig for it.
Do you? Oh, you have a chest rig? That's real classy.
Yeah. It's in coyote color.
Yeah, I bet that tells all the girls.
It tells them I must have something big.
Yeah.
If
a
it's got to
wallet,
be in a
that's
chest
probably
bag,
it.
if it's in a chest bag, it's got to be packing fucking neat.
This is bigger than that. In all factions other than weight. Look, longer barrel, bigger
Mine's
caliber.
thicker.
Thicker?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's thicker.
yeah, because you've added weight on it.
Yeah. And you can do that if you order one. You can call up Nighthawk, be like, I want to add more weight to this chunky pig. Like, I want to make it heavier. And they'll do it. They'll sell
How
you
much
one.
are them things?
Um,
Like just ballpark.
5,500?
You know what's crazy is this actually isn't super far. I mean,
They ain't giving them away.
no.
They're not giving these bad boys away.
I think these guns of all the revolvers definitely personify us as revolver guys.
Yes, this just screams obnoxious, and I love it.
And, you know, FUD.
Yes, there you go. That's the duo.
The second generation of Colt Single Action Armory exists because of Westerns. It is not because Colt wanted to make them. Colt stopped the production of Colt Single Action Army in, I believe, 1940, obviously, for obvious reasons. Then 1941.
Other things took precedent.
The world was a little, maybe the single action wasn't the gun needed to be made at that time. And so they stopped production in 1940, I believe. It could be 41, but I think 40 is when they stopped production. And they had zero plans to resume production post-war. In fact, they actually kind of did a knee-jerk reaction. So in the 50s, Americans, coming off this great victory in World War II, began to want to connect with the ideals of being an American. I think one of those is Manifest Destiny. It's conquering the West. As an American, and like every time I come westward, especially as someone who grew up in the South, it is a swell of pride. And like every time I come out here, I think, I got to move out here. Like I was having that conversation with you last night. And so the westward expansion really resonated with Americans at that time. Well, Ruger, who was a new manufacturer at that time, and again, got to give a lot of credit to Ruger. They are a great, great, great gun company. But Ruger saw this and introduced a .22 caliber single action, and then later the Black Hawk. Crazy good sellers because everybody wanted a single action revolver like the guys on the TV shows, on the movies. But here's the deal. Everyone used single action arm. The bad guy, the good guy, even if it was in a time period set before 1873, single action army.
Yeah.
And so Colt decided, well, hell, we're losing out on a market that's our own damn gun.
Yeah.
So they decide to reintroduce the Colt Single Action Army. This is a second year production, second generation.
cool.
So
Very cool.
1957. In the original offered barrel length of 7.5-inch barrel. This is the configuration of the original Single Action Army.
They didn't start with the 5.5 or the
Oh no,
4 and
5.5 came much later. 4 3/4 was more of a civilian. In fact, fun fact for you, when and people talk about ballistics and calibers, by the 1890s and the turn of the century, the United States Army had adopted a .38 caliber revolver. And in our little bit of an imperialistic phase, we ran across a certain group of people who would use drugs and get hopped up, and they would also take rope and bound themselves in this rope. And so with a very weak .38 caliber double action revolver, you could take the dude down, but not before he got to you. And typically they were armed with machetes, spears, and a lot of times and as gross as it sounds, a lot of them were laced with like feces. So if you got hit even in a non-fatal place, the disease was, the infection was bound to kill you. So what happened was they brought back the single action Army and they cut down a lot of the 7.5-inch guns to 5.5. And so that's pretty unique. And then of course that led to the development of 45 ACP, which led to the greatest handgun ever made from the 1911. But this gun means a lot to me because essentially this generation of Colt single action Armies I resonate with because they're inspired by Westerns and I was then also inspired by Westerns.
Yeah.
So
it's an amazing piece.
And honestly, truthfully, I like shooting the clones better. The clones have better triggers. The four-click hammer is really heavy. This gun's not been shot a lot at all.
Yeah, it's really heavy.
So it's really heavy. And the trigger's not quite as good, I think, as your Cimarron.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I know it's not as good.
No, it's not.
And so I actually found myself kind of struggling to do well with this. I have shot broken-in ones, and they're much nicer.
Yeah.
But this gun being relative,
you're not going to ever shoot that a lot.
not a ton, no. I still got the box and everything with this when I got it. So it's a big collector's piece. I think I'm going to have my last name engraved in the back strap.
Cool.
Which I think for a barbecue gun is very appropriate.
Totally works. Gold inlay that bad.
I agree. I think I'm going to do that. And so this is a dramatic contrast, though, to your barbecue gun.
Yeah, we crossed the pond over to your favorite country, Germany. And they make a lot of great things there. Korth revolvers are one of them. This gun is, I like to think, one of the more practical firearms that I own.
Why are you using that word?
Well, I'm just saying, you would go Glock 19, and then you would get a Korth NXS, 8-shot, 357 revolver.
Listen, I'm on a bunch of caffeine right now. Do not try to get my blood up.
Yeah. Look, this is bad. This thing is bad. 8-shot, 357. I think the range footage will largely speak for itself here.
Watch
Shoot
this.
yours.
8 freaking rounds. Watch this. So whoever says I can't shoot revolvers,
Well, first of all,
as you like to do it.
First of all, I'm supporting America.
Yeah.
Okay, you're supporting the damn Krauts. Okay?
Nighthawk brings them in, American.
Yeah, someone has to bring them from Germany. Okay, yeah, I get it, but come on, it's German and it's a revolver. Do you know what? You know what the Germans used as a revolver in the First World War? Of course you don't. It's called the Reichsrevolver. Look it up. It's terrible. And so you think about this and you think, what, do Germans really know anything about revolvers?
I don't know. It's pretty slick.
You put a barrel weight on it.
Yeah. I wanted it to be heavier.
It's a 54 ounce, and you just shot 38 specials.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hit all 8 rounds.
That's
8
fine.
rounds.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
But
it shoots good, but it's a 54 ounce handgun.
yeah.
That's like people who are like, oh, my tricked out 9mm 2011, shoots great. It's
does.
a 50 ounce 9mm handgun.
Damn right it does.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. But these walnut grips, these Turkish walnut grips, really just...
Oh, we're going to loop it into the Central Powers there, aren't we? World War I, Germany and Turkey.
Good grips.
The Ottoman Empire.
Good grips.
At that time.
Nighthawk imports these. These things are just really fun. They've got some models, I'll admit, are not really my jam. They're a little too out there, like bright red colors and shit, where you're just like, hey, maybe for
They
Taylor.
actually make some more toned down stuff that looks a lot better.
They do. They got a short one. I really tried to get them to sell me to do a Fitz conversion on. That conversation didn't go well.
Well, I don't think they knew what the Fitz was. They didn't fully appreciate
I was like, look,
the gravity
let's
of
do
the
a
situation.
Fitz Korth. It'll
And
be
they
the
were just
coolest
like,
thing ever.
What is that?
I'd be like, yeah, that's a no for us, dog. So anyway, but these are cool. Like, look, the whole point is that you should have something that checks a little bit of a wild sort of grail box. The Korths are ungodly expensive.
This was probably right in the same ballpark of price.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
The polar opposite nature of these is hilarious. Now, I will fully admit, truthfully, it's like as much as I love the Korth, and it is actually a lot of fun to shoot. Like a single action Army, I would want a 5.5 or a 4 3/4. To me, those would be like the one.
The 4 3/4 is my favorite barreling.
Yeah, it's just bad. Basically, I want my Cimarron, but
spinning.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I got to get a rig made and all that kind of shit.
Here's the deal. And you know why this is? You know why you're having these feelings down yonder? This is a German-made gun. This is the epitome of the American handgun.
Look, I can't.
So, like, as an
argue
American,
with
you're
that.
like your reptile brain is saying the Colt Single Action Army. I was born to lay waste to the West and kill all the buffalo with that on my hip.
Yeah, like I want a horse.
100%.
That makes me want a horse.
Yeah, I want a horse. I want the cowboy hat. I want to go off grid.
Full deal. Yeah, full deal. Chaps.
I want to be
Spurs.
Spurs.
God damn! Don't you wish some Spurs when you look
Like
at
I
that?
want to like jingle bobs. Like every time I walk, like.
Yeah.
Like how it is. Like girls are like, I hope I go peacefully at night. I hope that when they find me after I've passed away.
Yeah.
It is with 5 miscreants and I'm in the middle of them clutching this.
Yep.
5 because obviously
Skip one.
you skip one.
Yeah. Well, guys, that's kind of the deal today. I'm very unclear if 3 people have watched this video. Or if some of you are like, you know what, you guys might have a point. Like, maybe there is something here and we should explore the subject matter a little bit. My message would just be, hey, look, I think we get so, like we were saying earlier, I think we get so fixated on checking the boxes and everything that it's like you wind up just playing this game of duplicates on top of duplicates, of shit that it's like, I get it. The apocalypse pops off. You want a couple like good, solid, modern, reliable things that like, I got it, okay? But beyond that, it's like, have some fun, man. Like, what are we doing here? Like, guns are inherently fun. And we should take them seriously. They're life-saving tools, but they are also fun. And they tell history and stories,
absolutely.
and you got to embrace that.
Well, and I think too, I think if you ask, and people are honest with you, you ask the majority of firearms owners, like, what got you into guns, right? And they'll tell you a story, and typically that story goes something like, I shot a gun, and it was fun.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do it more.
Yep.
You do things you think are fun over and over again.
Yep. That's it. So guys, chime in the comments. Rank his outfit on a scale of...
I don't understand the obsession with this outfit.
It's just unique.
I mean, I reckon.
Yeah. I mean, this is what this is pedestrian and predictable, minus this hat. You guys can take your guess down in the comments what the hat means. It's apparently a big topic of conversation. And then there's this, and it's just so lovely to see you here with your face and the fur on top of your lip. I mean, it's just like, it's a whole vibe. It's a whole, as Crispy behind the camera would say, it's a whole ass vibe.
I love the Crispinator. Thanks for having me. I've enjoyed the time out here. I get to preach about revolvers, and I'm going to be honest, y'all. Jake, he don't want to admit it. He's becoming a FUD.
I'm dabbling. I've dipped a little pinky in the FUD.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How many revolvers do you own first this year?
5.
How many you own now?
Let me clarify. 6 weeks ago, I owned 5.
Yeah.
Currently, 10.
You doubled them. I mean,
doubled.
and listen, that's a route that you're going to continue to go down.
Well, here we go, everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you next week.